The broadcast is now starting, and all participants are in passive listening mode. This workshop will be recorded, and the recording might be shared with others. The participants list is closed, and the chat function operates in private mode with only the speakers and the moderator accessing the chat messages. If you prefer not to proceed under these conditions, please log out at your convenience. Hello, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our mindsON workshop series presented by Syntegrity's My RBQM Academy. I'm Tamara, the operations manager and your host today. Today, we present a mindsON special edition, Mergers and Acquisitions Efficiency, RBQM supported clinical due diligence. Our interactive workshop will last approximately 60 minutes and includes polls, brainstorms, and a roundtable at the end for your questions and our answers then. Our speakers today, Anastasia Shapovalova, with over 20 years of experience in pharmaceutical operations and business development for major pharma companies. Anna is leading Syntegrity's centralized monitoring and analytics department. Amongst others, she is renowned for her expertise in business analytics, strategic planning, risk management, SDV reduction, and operational efficiency. Sven Kohaczyk, with broad business technology and data analysis expertise, Sven managed Syntegrity's My RBQM system for clinical trials in our project management team. He developed Syntegrity's interactive data visualizer. His pivotal contributions consistently reinforce RBQM risk management and operational efficiency. So, as already said at the beginning, this will be an interactive session. And now I would like to briefly introduce everyone here who is new to our mindsON workshop series to the tools that are available. The polls, questions, answers, so the chat and the brainstorming part. In the toolbar that I'm going to open for you during the session here, you will find on the right side then a mug that has pens. And when you click on that in the brainstorming session, next you click on the T that opens a T box here, a text box, I'm sorry, in the whiteboard here. And then you can start writing. When you are done, you just press OK, and your comment, your feedback here in the brainstorming session will immediately appear on our whiteboard screen. And everything is anonymous, so we don't see names. We do not see who is sending which answer or which comment. Yeah, the same applies for the questions, the polls. We will give you a question and with a couple of answer options that you can choose from, and that is then the interactive part here of our webinar session. So if you have any questions or comments for our speakers, then feel free to use the chat window over here. You find it on the right side. Just make sure, please, that before you send your question, you select in the to field here, send to moderators. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your attention. We start now with our mindsON RBQM Special Edition workshop, Mergers and Acquisitions Efficiency, RBQM supported clinical due diligence. Sven, over to you, please.
Thank you, Tamara, for this lovely introduction. So once again, from my side, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this webinar where my colleague Anastasia and I are happy and excited to present you the new use case for RBQM that we developed here at Syntegrity. So in this presentation, we are going to share how you can use RBQM to streamline many investment and M&A transactions within the pharmaceutical industry in order to achieve higher efficiency, better results, and of course, to make this well-informed decisions. Furthermore, this presentation is structured around 4 main questions that, when answered, should provide a quite good understanding of this use case. So I will begin by building the case for why RBQM is needed here and is there an opportunity for market for such use case. Then I will turn to defining the scope of what RBQM can actually support in this context. Then Anastasia will take you to a deeper dive into understanding how this all actually works, talking you through the potential findings, scientific analysis and methodologies. And finally, we are going to finish with explaining the benefits of RBQM-driven process. So now, when you are introduced with the structure of the presentation, let me start with the pharmaceutical industry investment outlook. So pharmaceutical industry is navigating a challenging landscape characterized by several unfavorable external forces. High costs associated with research, development, and clinical trials place a significant financial burden on the companies, while ever-increasing stringent regulatory requirements and complex approval processes only add to ever-increasing complexity of running clinical trials, while uncertainties around clinical trial outcomes and potential drug side effects just add to the industry's risk profile. So finally, increasing competition and challenges in identifying novel drug targets really intensify the pressure on these companies within the pharmaceutical space to really be profitable and to keep up with their financial targets. So as noted by PwC in their 2024 outlook, pharmaceutical industry outlook, in addition to research and development activity, pharma companies will seek to address gaps in their drug pipeline by directing capital toward quite often mid-sized biotech companies, and with higher interest rate and required returns on investment. This part I would like to emphasize, the onus will be on sellers to come armed with good data that supports their value. So before continuing with the pharmaceutical outlook, I would like to ask you one short poll question. So according to Deloitte's analysis, which subsegment of the life science industry has experienced the highest venture and M&A activity in terms of deal volume and value in 2023?
Thank you very much, Sven. I'm opening the poll now, just a second, and here it is displayed on your screen. You can choose from 4 answers. Which one do you think is correct? Select only one, please. I wait a little bit longer before closing. The answers are still coming in here, I see. And here we come to an end. And we have the results on the screen now.
Thank you, Tamara, for that. So I see that majority of the attendees of this webinar have answered correctly. So the correct answer would be under D, pharmaceuticals, but let me tell you more about it in these next few slides. Okay, so in figure 1 on your left-hand side, you can see M&A and venture activity in life sciences from 2021 to 2023 from both deal value and deal volume perspective. As you can see, there is an obvious negative trend going on from 2021 onwards. However, it slightly changes in 2023, at least from the deal value perspective, as well as the size of median routes that has increased from 0.6 billion to 1 billion. So as noted by Deloitte, this is caused because many venture investors have been much more selective about their investments, and similarly can be said for the pharmaceutical companies themselves, as their investment focus shifts towards pharmaceutical products as they are divesting in the non-core assets that can be seen in the figure 2 on your right side, which is chart that shows M&A and venture activity in life sciences by subsector. As you can see, the pharmaceutical from 2021 onwards really dominate, as pharmaceutical markets in 23 experienced 85 deals out of total 175 deals, valued at approximately 131 billion US dollars out of total 175, with an average deal value around 1.5 billion compared to 1 billion in the life sciences. This next graph here is a result of the primary market research conducted by PPD on a sample of 150 respondents that are more or less equally divided from the respondents from the large companies and the ones from small to mid-sized companies. The mix of these respondents ranges from C-suite executives, directors, medical and regulatory teams, operational teams, so it is a pretty good mix. And as you can see in all three of the column graphs, there is lighter color variation that represents the top 5 challenges that were selected by the respondents for their organization, and the darker variance of the color represents the challenges that were ranked in top 2. So without me going too much into this graph, I would like just to highlight that a notable proportion of large pharmaceutical companies are concerned with patient recruitment in clinical trials and increasing complexity and maximizing asset value or return on investment, while respondents at small and mid-sized companies are especially challenged by lack of funding. So this all in last couple of slides kind of goes in the direction of the argument that there is a opportunity for such use cases on the market, as it is the case that more and more companies turn to brownfield investments, such as investing in promising pharmaceutical product in the early stage of a clinical trial to close the gap in return on investment that is often caused by lacking R&D efficiency or patent cliffs. So here I will actually define the scope and share with you what can actually be supported by RBQM. As I said previously, our use case can support any transactions whose target is acquiring a pharmaceutical product that is in phase 2 or higher in their clinical trials. And that applies for both ongoing and completed clinical trials. As I just mentioned, RBQM can support any type of transactions, regardless of that being M&A, strategic alliance, joint venture, licensing, franchising, or a straightforward investment from, for example, private equity fund or venture capitalist. And lastly, the output of this use case, quality of clinical data report, can support all of the main stakeholders in the process, from buyers, for which it can serve as a sort of insurance for what they are buying, to sellers, for which it can serve as a guarantee of their clinical data quality, which is the most important, without the need for them to actually share their sensitive and a highly confidential clinical data with prospective buyers. It can also serve the investor and business representatives, as this report is tailored to aid also non-medical and non-scientific teams. And of course, it can serve the consultants such as PwCs, KPMGs, and Deloittes of this world that are in most of these transactions. So while M&A in general is a very complex process, as it involves thousands of different analytical and due diligence activities, for the sake of simplicity and for this presentation, we have divided it into 4 most general categories, just for me to be able to communicate what RBQM can actually support. So it aims strategy assessment by providing data insights needed to tailor the regulatory strategy, while it aids the scientific risk assessment by providing data insights into drug safety and risk profile. And as I said, M&A is really complex process because all of these due diligence activities are intertwined, and they, in most of the cases, affect each other. And that is here is the case as well. While these factors can influence the financial assessment or the valuation of the product, portfolio, or company at the end, but on that you will hear more from my colleague Anastasia in the continuation of this presentation. So I would conclude my part with appointing this use case to most appropriate existing due diligence activity there is currently on the market, which is clinical due diligence, that is critical to M&A activity within the pharmaceutical industry, especially as it identifies or uncovers issues and concerns that may affect the valuation, suitability, and success of the deal. What current industry kind of standard is very good equipped with is the assessment on drug efficacy and drug safety. However, we see a gap in the assessment of data quality, study performance, and fraud sloppiness, which is the gap because these play a considerable role in granting the future products market authorization. And Anastasia, over to you in explaining how can RBQM actually support M&A efficiency.
Okay, thank you, Sven. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Tamara, could you please switch to the next slide? Okay, so if we consider an M&A deal where we have product which has not obtained market authorization yet, the product can be in clinical trial, or its clinical trial can be just finished, we will face next issues from clinical data due diligence perspective. So first of all, clinical trial, it's a lot of information. People are scared to look inside and check what is going on there because it's complicated. You need a specialist who will work with this, who is able to work with this amount of data. Second thing is that clinical trial information, clinical trial data, it's very sensitive thing. So this data costs $1 million. It's not something what you can easily share through WhatsApp or even internal messenger. So there are some security, data security things what you always need to think about, and share it with someone and allow this person to make a deep dive. It might be really questionable. As BD and marketing people who make decision, and strategic people who make decision about go and not go with the product in frame of M&A, they mostly focused on therapeutical area of this product and indications, and they do not pay much attention to what's going on in the study, how good this study, do we have any problems there, anything. And this all surprises what they will usually found after deal sign off. And that's something what we want industry to avoid. Of course, this assessment is time sensitive because you do not have years for assessment and making decision if we sign or not sign the contract, the deal. Because if it's very promising product, if it's a game changer, potential game changer, a lot of other companies also want to buy it, and most probably seller has parallel negotiation with different companies, and you should win this race. Because nobody wants to pay attention to. People don't want to spend a lot of time with detailed analysis of the study. They will not pay much attention to potential biases, what then can affect your dossier results, statistical analysis. And also, if the study is still going, there might be some warning trends what you can miss if you not make a deep dive into the study data. And all these problems we know that can be addressed through RBQM solutions. And today we will try to explain how to understand if you have any problem with data quality, data reliability, potential regulatory compliance issues, and also study performance, including study timeline. Okay. But first of all, I want to show you the process. So once again, we cannot analyze something, analyze study if there are no data. So of course, study data should be available. So all these issues with data access should be solved. Then of course there should be technical part of data input and key right calculations. And then integrity, we are working on a solution what we hope very soon will be introduced to the market, what will help to make this process faster than previously. One important thing what I want to pay attention to, that key rise should be selected for a study properly. So it shouldn't be just a long list of key rise what do not suit your study. So check study protocol, check what kind of risk you can have there, what specific things you need to check, and adjust your key rise list accordingly. Then we have two different workflows. So first workflow is statistic analysis, what can help us to understand if there if there are problems with data fraud, data reliability, and similar things. And there is this parallel thing what we also can analyze after key right calculation is study performance. So here is enrollment, PDs, missing data points, etc. So that's how the process in general looks. Okay. Now let's go to the examples. So we will go through the list of the key rise and examples of the statistical test, and I will try to explain you what kind of conclusions we can make based on this or that key rise. Of course,
Anna,
yeah?
please excuse me. It would be nice if you could use the pointer here, and
I do.
Thank you very much. On the slide here, the pointer, when you click on the arrow on the right side in the vertical menu bar, and then we can follow you much better here on the screen in the process.
Okay. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's start from the data competence, reliability, and accuracy. And here we will speak from key right performance analysis, not from statistical perspective. Normally, people say that, okay, check enrollment first, but no. First, you need to start from that's my recommendation as experienced data analyst. You need to start from mean data entry time or similar key risk indicators, because if you see something similar what you currently see on the slide, it means that performance of this key rise is in high risk area. You cannot trust what you see. Because tomorrow people, investigators, they will add missing delayed data into the EDC system, and your risk indicators related to serious adverse events or some lab tests or whatever things should be filled in should be provided in EDC following your protocol, and you will have absolutely different picture in your study, and all decisions what you made before can be crossed, and you need to start from the beginning. That is why this is the very first thing you need to start with. Then of course, we look at the missing study endpoints. Of course, these key rise should be considered together with the enrollment, because we should understand if we have some room for improvement, because we are still going to enroll a lot of patients, or we at the end of the enrollments, and in this case we are in bad situation. But missing endpoints mean that you have nothing to analyze. You statisticians have, or not you, some statisticians who will work on this study dossier, they have nothing to work with, because no endpoints, no data. And last but not least, on this slide, it's number of overdue queries. Here is a simple, just overall queries, but it's better, of course, to divide it into the manual and automatic queries, because automatic queries most probably will tell you about some typos and some technical errors, so they can be managed very fast, and they will not affect your study results very, very much. But manual queries most probably caused by some medical observations or some big and not right word, some complex observations, and they require much attention. So follow up. If you have high escalations for a number of overdue manual queries KRI, it can affect your study database closure. So that, and which will affect your study stop date, which will affect your regulatory timeline, which will affect your launch time. So you can see the consequences of these events. Oops, my God. I'm not good in this. No, okay, good. Study performance. I recommend to look at screen failure rate, how effective your enrollment. It's very important, of course, for a study which is still ongoing. So if you have completed study, don't pay much attention to this key, right? Because everything already done. Also, please pay attention to ICF protocol deviations, because ICF protocol deviations, because you don't want to have ICF protocol deviations in your study. FDA EMA don't want to see protocol deviations related to ICF in your dossier and in your study data. That's something what can be very easy managed in most cases, and it's a quite bad thing. So try to avoid it, and because it's a red flag for your regulatory colleagues. % of under recruitment, that's also one of the basic thing. If you do not have enough participants in your study, you do not have enough endpoints, even if you have all needed endpoints presented, all theoretical possible endpoints available in your database, they're just not enough, which means that you will have to prolong your study, maybe for months, maybe even for year, and it will shift all other deadlines, milestones in your plan, and you need to make decision. And then the next slides I will show why, if you really want to continue with this product, because it might be extremely important from commerce, from marketing and commercial perspective. Regulatory compliance, rate of serious adverse events. I do not show here just rate of adverse events, because it's a very broad thing. Serious adverse event might be more interesting. This is very sensitive thing, and you need to be careful here and probably speak with your medical consultant, medical advisor, medical monitor, because if you, as a marketing person, as a BD person, business development person, you build a forecast for this product, and you consider that this product will be better versus potential competitors or existing competitors, and then during the study you see that one of the key adverse event, what you consider at the absence of this adverse event as one of the biggest advantage of your potential product, but you see some statistic in your statistic of this adverse event in your study data, it should influence your commercial strategy, sales forecast, etc., because UK advantage will not happen. % of dropouts and % of loss to follow-up. This is a red flag for you, for regulatory colleagues. So they will have to explain it to regulatory services. If you have a lot of loss, especially loss to follow-ups, it's quite a bad sign, and for sure you will have problem with this dossier. % of dropouts, you need to be careful here, because you need to check when exactly it happened, before or after collecting of endpoints. If it happened after collecting of endpoints, it's still not good, but it's better than it happened before. Once again, it depends on a specific study protocol. You need to look at it carefully, but there is a big difference. Rate of protocol deviations. Protocol deviations can be different, can be minor, can be major. Of course, rate of major protocol deviations is important, and and it's again a question to your regulatory colleagues who should be presented in cross-functional team what works on M&A product portfolio assessment, and you need to ask them, guys, will we have problem with this product registration if we have these kind of protocol deviations? And it's better to check now than after signing of the agreement. I told you that on the first slide of this part that we start from data quality, and one of the key things what we started with was this availability of the data. So you should have data presented in time in your databases to be sure that you analyze right things. And then second step, when you are sure that you have all needed data, you can you can switch on statistical instruments, not very complex, but simple, like histogram, for example, or AQR test, and you can check if data points what related to you endpoints, what are crucial for you endpoints, or for regulatory dossier, for some safety, etc., that they are okay. It's important, and it depends who presented in your team. If you have the authorized medical person, you can also add medical analysis. But because in my team we do not provide any medical conclusions, we just make an assessment if there is any data sloppiness, data fraud, but we do not make any medical conclusions. And on the left side here, you can see an example when we found that one of the blood tests showed that the blood test results are not compatible with life. And then we start deep dive, and we understood that lab tests came from different laboratories, and they use different scale data. At the moment of the M&A assessment, we can stop here and we can inform business development team or team who is assessing this deal, this product. We can tell them that, guys, we found that there is a problem with lab tests. And you will have to deal with it. You will have to spend time on it. You will have to spend money on it. Are you ready? People should know, because problems can be not as easy as this one, because here you just need to change scale for different labs, and everything will be okay. But the problems what you can find might be much more complex than just scale. And one of the example of complex problems presented on the right side here is an example of the heart rate, if I'm not mistaken. And we found through the statistical test that there is a group of patients who have very different results from a normal distribution, for this particular study, very different from other participants. And it's another kind of problem, but again, you cannot go deeper. You can stop and not go deeper at this moment. You can just inform people that, guys, I also found this kind of problem, and this is much more complex than just a change scale of variances. On the next slide, there is another example of the scatter plot test where you can see different outliers, what also can cause some questions. You can look with the medical monitor if it's medical, in this particular case, it's medical indicators and medical tests. And you can ask, okay, do you see any problem here? Is it like a potential issue for our future analysis? And you can, and if medical monitor and together with statisticians say, yes, looks like it might be a problem, you again should inform business development team. Because once again, if you buy this product as it is with this data, then you will have to manage all these issues. You will have to, your company, you will have to spend time, money, and all kind of efforts to change it, to improve this situation. Now let's speak about benefits, just visualization, how it works. Oh, I missed the brainstorming. So I have a question to you. In your opinion, how can serious adverse events reporting affect the sales forecasting of the investigated product, and under what circumstances? We talked about it a bit a couple of slides before, and now I want to check what do you think about it. Tamara?
Yes, thank you very much, Anna. Here on the right side, I've opened the menu bar for you. You find the icon with the coffee mug and the pens in it. When you just click on that, next you click on the tea. Click somewhere here on the screen, and I just write a test here. Then I press OK, and here we go. Your comment or feedback here, answer to this question that appears right on the screen then. And as I already said, this all is anonymous. So please brainstorm with us.
No ideas.
And maybe, Anna, we can already speak about the comments here, please.
Okay, yes, it's true. It's delayed in drug approval by health authority and poor safety profile. Yeah, but from business development, from business perspective, when we're speaking about M&A, it's a lower deal value, first of all, because if you see that your product will patients who in the future will use your product will face some adverse events what are quite serious. I'm not speaking about like from term serious adverse event, but they're quite painful, quite annoying for them. So it will decrease prescription power of this product. It's different from situation to situation. It depends on how many competitors you have on the market, what disease we're talking about, etc. But that's something what business people who calculating the forecast of the sales of this product, which is the one of the prime point for the to consider when you make decision buy or not buy a product, they should be informed. I once in my life I had I faced I witnessed one very sad situation when a company bought a rare disease product, and it was cancer and rare cancer, and it's occurred. It's bought when it was bought when it was in the mid of the phase 2. And at the end of phase 2, it became clear that patient about 50% of patients became blind. You can say that, guys, but it's a rare cancer, so it's life-saving drug. Just okay, that's a question of life or death. So being blind but being alive is better than being deaf, being dead. So it's questionable, but because there was some alternative therapies available on the market, maybe not, maybe like couple percent less effective than this new product, you know that it might be a big question for a physician, for oncologists, if I should prescribe this patient with this new product, if I have an alternative, and if this patient survive, so he or she will have his eyes still available. So it's you see what I mean. So yes, it's big problem from regulatory dossier, but it's also potentially a big problem from commercialization perspective. And because today we're speaking about like commercial side of RBQM findings, so that's what we also should consider. Okay, let's speak about benefits. Here I have a slide little bit crowded, but I will try to explain what I wanted to say. Okay, I need to return my pointer here. Okay, we have a product, what we're going to buy, or we consider that for buying in frame of a big M&A deal. This product is still in study, so no, study is not finished yet. So we plan that study will be finished here, that registration will take this amount of time, and we think that we are going to have this number of competitors, and based on our planned timeline, our product will be launched before potential competitors. It's one of the most favorite strategy of companies first on the market, not the best on the market because it's a more complex strategy, but first on the market. And because we are going to be the very first on the market, because our competitors will come later, we plan that our market share will be like this. Not at the beginning of the launch, or the beginning of the launch, because we will be number one, we will have 100% market share. But when everybody, not everybody, but when all products are presented on the market, so here is our expected market share. When we check study data, we can find some problem with data fraud. Some data fraud, not problems with data fraud. We can find some enrollment issues. We can find a lot of dropouts, loss to follow-up, and some other problems. And we understand that, okay, because of data fraud, we will have to prolong our study because we will need to enroll new patients in order to cover our gaps in data set. Enrollment issue will cause some other delays of the study timeline, etc. And we can see that after all this analysis, we can understand that instead of finishing study here, we will have to shift it to this moment. It can take like minimum several months, maybe 1 year, and then registration will happen later. We potentially may have also issue with registration, but here for this scenario, we do not consider some prolongation of registration period. Let's consider that we assumed all bad scenarios already in the basic scenario. And we can see that in this case, we will launch our product after our competitors. And this is very crucial moment, what people from business development should be informed about, because at this moment they can understand that instead of this market share, they will have adjusted market share, which is like, in my case, almost 2.5 times lower than it was expected. And this is the key point when they can decide that, sorry, but we will not go with this product because 1, 2, 3, 4, and we will never get revenue what we wanted to have, what we planned to get from this product. And that's something what RBQM allow you to do. That's something what you can understand before signing of the deal, and you will not, I cannot say that you will have no surprises, because first of all, it's ongoing study, you can screw it up after the deal signing, but you will have less number of surprises. And if there are big problems with this study, it is better to know it before. A little bit different picture for the product which study is already completed. So we do not care about enrollment. We do not care about no, we still care about other things, but like we do not care about screen failures and some other related to enrollment things. But we still can face some data fraud. We still have loss to follow-up, dropouts, missing data, etc. And that's again can show us potential problem with launch of this product in time. And it means that the worst case scenario here is that you will find so many problems there that you will have to restart your study, reopen the study, because you will not be able to register product as is with the existing study data. This example of benefits, what you can get from deep dive due diligence of the clinical trial data together with RBQM solutions. That's it from my side. So we can go to Q&A.
Thank you. Great. Thanks very much, Sven and Anna. And ladies and gentlemen, this is our question and answer session here. So if there is anything that you would like to talk about or that you would like to ask Anna and Sven around the topic here today, then please feel free and put that in the chat window. Can somebody please go back and not move the screen here? Great. Thank you. All right. So I see a first question here. What is MA? I think that refers to the slide.
It's merger and acquisition.
Not M&A, but I saw that here. Let me just check real quick. Wasn't it here on that slide? Yeah, over here. This MA over here, please.
It's mitigation action.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, good. So I'm just going back to where we left. Question and answers. All right. How long does an analysis take? Is a question here I see.
It depends. Depends from study size, amount of information, where we are, we're at the beginning of the study, we're in the middle, or we're at the very end. But it's not a question how it should be asked, because it happens in this way. You have like 1 month maximum. It's great if you have 1 month. Usually up to 3 weeks, and in 3 weeks you should provide business development team with all findings you have. And because it's a little bit different. You cannot have as much time as you want. Of course, I want to spend a couple of months with the study data set and investigate it from different perspectives and make this wide book of analytic conclusions. But it doesn't work in this way. No. And so you have like not less than 2 weeks, but like 3 weeks, max 4 weeks, and within this period of time, you need to provide the answer. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Anna. The next question is this use case already developed, or is it still at a stage of an idea?
No, it's developed. So as I mentioned that we're going to introduce very soon technical solution, what will help to facilitate this analysis, because of course it's not an easy thing. Yeah. So yeah, and I hope, I'm not sure when the release happened, but we're talking about, I don't know, a couple of next weeks, something like this.
Okay. Thank you very much. The next question, how would you deal with data protection and IP protection?
Well, maybe I can take this one, Anastasia, if you like, and jump in if you have anything to add. But in general, as we explained, that is kind of one of the main selling point of this use case, where potential seller can only share their confidential data with us, and with the signed all necessary NDA and proprietary information agreements, we kind of guarantee the data protection and IP protection as we are secured by highest industry standards such as SOC 2 Type 2, ISO 27001. So yeah, that would be my answer.
Great. Thank you, Sven. Another question, is this use case dependent on the ability to gain the clinical data from the seller?
Yes, of course.
Yes.
That was clear. All right. Thank you. What is your main or relevant inputs for doing this analysis?
I'm not sure I got the question.
So if the colleague is referring to the study protocol and clinical data, that would be the main inputs for doing this analysis. I don't know
Yeah. That's
if
minimum what
anything
is needed.
else was meant by the question.
Great. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, is there anything else we should talk about here? Then please put it in the chat. If not, we would be at the end of the question and answer session, but we still have 10 minutes. So feel free to ask anything that you would like to ask Sven and Anastasia here. Okay, thank you. Often there is a biases towards the asset. What are your thoughts?
So if the bias refers to the kind of all the stakeholders that are included in the deal, of course there should be a bias from all of these stakeholders for a deal to be approved in the end and to go. So this service, this use case is an additional kind of safety net in that regard, that really the responsible decision makers can really use data-driven insights to make these decisions.
Yes, exactly. So what we can do, we can provide you with our findings, or you can find something if you use RBQM solutions for this purposes. But we cannot influence your decision-making map. So if you have some biases in your corporation, we cannot. It is better to use an independent service that can tell that sorry, even if this therapeutical area, even if this indication and this product looks very promising, but from commercial and from BD perspective, this is very poor quality study, and you will have a lot of problems. Are you ready to buy it under these circumstances? If yes, up to you. But our target is to show all kind of problems we can find for the limited period of time.
Yeah, good. I think half of the answer was already in the part that you said. For the next question here, is RBQM addressing this? So that's still related to the previous question. There is a bias towards the asset. What are your thoughts? Is RBQM addressing this?
So I mean, I think Anastasia and I have kind of answered that.
Yeah.
That it does address this
Definitely.
in a way that it provides black on white, data findings and insights based on which you can make informed decisions.
Yeah. Then I see one last question here that I would like to read. You mentioned something of quality of report. Is this the same as a quality of earnings report?
Well, not the same. Of course, the quality of earnings report, from my knowledge, is served for financial assessment within the M&A deals, and this is something that we kind of intendedly went to use the similar wording with the quality of clinical data report, which was the full name, which would be the same kind of golden industry standard that quality of earnings report became for financial due diligence. That is what we are trying to achieve here with the quality of clinical data report, to become the next, let's say, golden industry standard of the clinical due diligence assessment.
Yeah, great. All right. Good, Sven. Thank you very much. Anna, thank you too. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks very much for your attention. The workshop is actually at its end now, but I would like to invite you to our next session here, and that is the episode number 26. Can you identify and evaluate key risks in a protocol? We will perform this webinar on Thursday, the 27th of June, and it will be presented by our experts, Johan Pröbe and Keith Doricott. Here you can also see the rest of the webinars that we have planned in the mindsON RBQM series until the end of this year. So, as I already said, thanks very much for your attention, and it would be my pleasure to welcome you again for another mindsON session here, hopefully on the 27th of June. Have a nice day and goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.